Hello everyone. So this is UPSC Mains 2021 essay paper, which happened on 7th. And we'll do the analysis, we'll do the discussion. This paper is tough. Why this particular AC paper is tough? Because generally what happens when you have section A and section B. So in one of the sections, UPSC generally gives theoretical essays where you can use whatever knowledge you have, and you have a lot of knowledge. And then the second part is about philosophical essays. But in this particular paper of 2021, and this happened previous year also, if you have a look at the previous year paper, you will realize that previous year also so many philosophical essays were there. So this year also so many philosophical essays are there. It's like almost all the essays has philosophical tenets or attributes to it. Okay, let's not waste time. We'll jump directly to the point. So what are the essays? First essay, if we talk about it is, and then in the end, I will tell you there are certain things which you can follow. Even in these kind of cases, you can follow this pestle analysis. What is pestle analysis, or past, present, future model, or both. Even you can combine both. And I will give you one example of one essay where you can use these. But first of all, let's talk about these 8 essays. First topic is the process of self-discovery has now been technologically outsourced. If you see this particular essay, there are 2 points here. First is self-discovery. Second is technologically outsourced. So you have to focus on both the areas. Self-discovery means what? Like you people also, you're preparing for UPSC. In this process, you will discover yourself. When do you get angry? When do you get happy? How even studying for 6-7 hours make you so happy? If you don't study, you are all frustrated. So everything is a process of self-discovery. Buddha's life is a process of self-discovery. He discovered himself. He discovered what he wanted from life. Gandhiji's life, everything is a process of self-discovery. You can talk about it. But now the next point, how it has been technologically outsourced. I will give you a very simple example. Siri. We all know Siri. So right now, when you have to discover yourself, or when you need to know about yourself, what do? You ask Siri. Siri, what is this song? How do I look today? All these things. You do that. So what is happening here? You are discovering yourself by using a technology. But is it good enough, or is it enough? Introspection is still the key. No technology can do self-discovery for you completely. So you can outsource technology, like the process of self-discovery, to technology to a certain extent, but is it all? No, you need a certain amount of introspection. Other example, let me give you. Climate change is happening, and now government is talking about electric vehicles. So we are moving towards using electric vehicles. Again, somebody else is telling us to use technology to improve ourselves, to discover ourselves. But is it enough? Is this technology enough for our self-discovery, for making humankind a better race? No, we need behavioral change. We need behavioral change. So all these points you have to talk about here. A good topic, very good topic. So here, 2 parts, self-discovery and technologically outsourced. You will talk about that. And then you will say that technology, like self-discovery via technology outsourcing is not enough. We need to have a certain amount of introspection, or we need to do a certain amount of introspection. Only this thing is not going to help. Although it has facilitated self-discovery, like you have Pomodoro app now. So this is a technology, Pomodoro. So what is Pomodoro telling you? Study for 25 minutes, take a 5-minute break. When 4 cycle completes, then take a 15-minute break. So technology is helping you to discover yourself. When is your concentration at the highest, etc., etc. So this is a good thing. It is facilitating self-discovery, but this is not everything. This is not all. So these are the things which you have to talk about. Very good topic, man. So that is it. Now let's talk about the second topic. Write essays. Just don't think that only 40 points will help you. Whenever you're writing these essays in 1,000 and 1,200 words, what you have to do is first 15 minutes, make a chart, like make a detailed background, what you will do, write it on the rough pages, and then start writing and complete it in 1 hour, 15 minutes. Okay, now the next topic. Your perception of me is a reflection of you. My reaction to you is an awareness of me. So here, this is all about like thinking. Our thinking shapes us. Like, remember your parents, they will tell you that make friends with good people, make friends with optimistic people. This is a thing which you think, or which you follow right now also. You don't want to be with someone who is very pessimistic in life, who's very negative in life. Why? Because thinking shapes us. If we have negative thinkings, it will shape our like whole personality. So what we think, we become. Basically, that is the basic objective. What we think, we become. That is what you have to focus on. So your perception is a reflection of you. If you're thinking about something about me, so that is actually Not telling about me, that is actually telling about you, what you are. If you think optimistically, like if you have a positive approach towards life, you will see everything in positivity. If you have negative approach towards life, you will see everything in negative, right? So what we think, we become. Imagine good things and those good things will happen to you. That is actually a philosophy also. Imagine good things and those good things will happen to you. So that is the core idea behind this particular topic. So you have to talk about this, how thinking shapes us, how what we think we become. And that's why they say, think you are an IAS officer, and you are an IAS officer. But again, because what happens when you think like that, your mind is constantly working towards, how can I become an IAS officer? If you think I can never become an IAS officer, this is too tough. So you will study like that only. So what you think, you become. So everything, every perception, whatever you have of others, that is actually a reflection of you. So in this area, you have to focus on, and you have to talk about different dimensions here, political, economic, and etc., etc. Right? Hitler. So he was thinking that everybody is wrong, but actually he was wrong. So whatever he was thinking of others, it is actually reflecting Hitler's ideology. So all these things you can talk about in different domains. I will tell you how to write domains. Once we have discussed this, I will give you one example also. So now next topic, philosophy. All these topics are very good, man. You have to think deep. Right now, it's very easy for me to sit here and talk about all these things. In examination, when the pressure is there, you have to write all these philosophical essays in 1 hour, 30 minutes. I can understand how you will be feeling, or how you would have been feeling at that point of time. I was there. I have felt. But at that time, the essays were easier, not this tough. This is actually tough. The paper is tough. Philosophy of wantlessness is utopian, while materialism is a chimera. See the words here, man. For simple people, what is chimera? How? And I don't know even if I'm pronouncing it wrong or not, means correct or not. So here, but again, the concept, if you think about it, this is actually very interesting here. So what they're trying to say is, like Jaina's philosophy, they talk about renunciation. Jaina, they talk about renunciation. That is an extreme philosophy, man. And that's why Jainism did not have many followers. I have my friend Gaurav Jain, so many good friends of mine are Jainas, but you can understand. They are saying that every inanimate object, they also has life. So you should not kill even the smallest of object. That's why the farmers and all those people, they did not join Jainism. That is actually extreme, because if we are human, we will have some needs. So that's why they say philosophy of wantlessness is utopian. This is one extreme. Jaina's renunciation philosophy is one extreme. Then there is another philosophy of Charvakas, Lokayat. They talk about materialism. According to their philosophy, even if you have to take loan to enjoy yourself, do that. Again, that is another extreme. And here you will, when you're talking about materialism, you will talk about Charvaka's philosophy. When you're talking about wantlessness, you will talk about Jaina's philosophy. Both are too extreme. And the answer here is, this is actually a good topic. You can write good answer here. So the actual thing here is, you have to follow the, what do you say, Buddha's middle path. Buddha's middle path, and that is visa lame. There's a mnemonic here. You can watch my other videos where I've talked about these mnemonics. So visa, eightfold path, middle path, visa lane. Right view, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, right meditation. Sometimes they also write right mindfulness as right concentration. So these 8 paths, that is the actual thing. You can neither have wantlessness, you can neither follow materialism. Both of them are not like extreme, actually, not very rational. There's one topic on rationality as well, the next topic. So you have to focus on the middle path. So the middle path is this Buddha's middle path, or sustainable development. Right now we are talking about. So divide your topic like this. Here you can write a good answer on this topic, actually. So you can take your time in means talking about what is wantlessness, why it is actually utopian, too realistic. Like if you have human, you will have needs. So Jaina's renunciation policy is somewhat closer to the wantlessness philosophy. So you can talk about all these things and then end with sustainable development middle path. Let's talk about, I've just given you a basic idea, man. You have to expand it. You have to write it in 1,000, 1,200 words. The next topic, real is rational and rational is real. Very tough topic. I think this is the toughest topic I have seen out of all these 8 topics. Toughest topic. Real is rational, rational is real. For those guys like who have philosophy optional and etc., like political science optional, maybe for them it is easy. I can just give you an example what they are actually saying. What is the meaning of this particular statement? Understand one thing, black hole. You had a like black hole, dark matter. If you read science and tech, you know about these things. So earlier these were all rational concepts. Nobody has discovered black hole. Nobody has seen black hole till about 2-3 years ago, when we have done the Event Horizon Telescope and singularity and all those things. We have captured the first image 2-3 years back only. So before that, this whole thing, black hole concept, was a rational concept, but now it is all real. We have seen the images, but now all real. So that is what they're talking about. That is what is the debate. But again, there are some other debates also, that sometimes there's something which is not real, which will seem to you as rational and all those stuff. So very, very philosophical topic. I will never advise, like some of my students who are preparing, they always ask me what we do in philosophical topics. I always tell them avoid it. But here, how can you avoid it when all the topics are philosophical? I think out of these four, this one is good. This is a good topic to write on. Other three are also good. Avoid this. If now this paper has already done, but these kind of topics, do tell me and mail me, what do you think, what more you can write here? So this is what you have to talk about, very philosophical. How real is rational, rational is real, how you will define God, God is real or rational, what it is. So there are so many things to talk about here in this topic. Very, very tricky topic. Let's move on. Let's not waste time. Let's move on to other areas. If possible, try to avoid this topic. You have fodder. They have giving you option. 4 options, 1 you have to attempt. So you have like choices here. Other 1, 2, 3 are not that tough. Section B, let's come to section B. Hand that rocks the cradle rules the world. So it's a very good like concept and promoting, what do you say, women empowerment, feminism, all those things. Very good topic. Very, very good topic. So there's also one very famous quote of Brigham Young. What does Brigham Young talks about? How you can associate that? This particular person, he says that if you educate a woman, you educate a man. If you educate a woman, you educate a generation. So that is the basic concept, that educate a man, educate a man. If you educate a man, you educate a man or educate a person. But if you educate a woman, you educate a generation. Educate a woman, educate a generation. So you can talk about this. You can talk about how these women are multitasking. They're doing so many things, and they are the one who are ruling over us. If they don't, like when we are grown as infant, if they don't take care of us, like Hitler, he has a very turbulent childhood. So he became what he became. But if you have a good childhood, if you have a good mother, if you have a good grandmother, so they ensures that your upbringing is good. And then you become a very good part of the society and you contribute in different ways. Then you can talk about like in past, in Indus Valley civilization, you have evidence of mother goddess. So this woman and these like woman empowerment thing, they were there as earlier as well. So mother goddess was there, IVC, we know it. Then Durga is known as a creator. So she was the one who was ruling the world. So all these points you have to talk about, how woman rules the world. That is actually, they are saying how they are ruling it. Give examples of Indra Nooyi, all these people who are ruling the world, how they're ruling the world, how they're shaping our future. That is a good topic, very good topic actually. Now, next topic. So what is research but a blind date with knowledge? Again, good topic. Now it's easier for me to tell you points, but again, in examination, you may have felt some difficulty. So this topic or this heading or this quotation rather is given by Will Harvey, who is an American entrepreneur. So now what is he talking about here? What is the basic meaning here? So like there's so many people you may have seen, you may have realized it yourself only because you're preparing for UPSC, one of the toughest exam in the world, if not the toughest. So you may have realized the more you're studying, the more mellow you're becoming. So that happens when you have knowledge. Now you go down, like you realize how much you more need to do, how much you more need to study. There's no dearth of knowledge, there's no end of knowledge. The people who have superficial knowledge, they will show too much attitude, right? So what is happening here is these researchers, what they do, they are engrossing themselves in knowledge finding without any ego. Like Newton, Einstein, Nikola Tesla. It is said about Nikola Tesla that he used to sleep 2 hours a day. He was so much engrossed in knowledge finding, or he was so much in love with date, in love with knowledge, because his whole idea was research. So 2 hours a day. Then there was one guy who's, you may have heard about him, Leonardo da Vinci. There's no, not Caprio, Leonardo da Vinci. So Leonardo da Vinci, it is said about him that he used to take 20-minute nap every 4 hours. So I'm not promoting sleeplessness here. What I'm trying to tell you is, we are not advocating sleeplessness, but we are just saying that they were in love with knowledge in their pursuit of research. And it's a blind date. Blind means here that you're not very sure where you're going. So it's not like when we are talking about space and when we are talking about SETI, search for extraterrestrial intelligence, we are not very sure what we are going to do. It's a blind date, but we are still researching. So all these aspects you have to talk about here. A very good topic. AI, artificial intelligence. We are researching. It's a blind date. We don't know what repercussions will be of AI, how it will react to us, how whether they will capture humanity, and what things are going to happen. But again, that's why it is a blind date with knowledge. So hope you understand it. It's again a good topic. You can have, or you can write so many things on it. Then next topic, history repeat itself. First as a tragedy, then as a farce. Farce means a joke. If you don't learn from history, then it's a joke actually. It's a joke because you didn't learn from history and it repeated itself. So that's why you have to keep on learning from history. So a statement given by Karl Marx. And what is the basic meaning here? Why it is a tragedy? Like it's first a tragedy. Let's say Spanish influenza happened in 1918, killed millions of people, 20 to 20, 50 million people died in Spanish influenza. Now COVID is happening, and COVID is happening, and not only COVID is happening. First phase is happening, second phase is happening, third phase is happening. But even then, we are acting like an idiot. We are not wearing our mask. So initially, it was a tragedy. But now it has become a joke because we are not taking it seriously. So these are the things which you have to talk about. Indo-China war happened in 1962. It was a tragedy. But right now also we are going through a similar scenario. So it has become a joke. It will become a joke if we are not prepared enough or we are not learning from history enough. So all these things you have to talk about, not in this language, modulate your language and write properly. Hope you can understand here. We need to learn from history, else tragedies will keep on happening. Let's take another example. In 1900s, there was anti-Semitism, which was a huge tragedy. Anti-Semitism. We are talking about topic 7 right now. Anti-Semitism, huge tragedy. So in current world, there is a one particular religion is targeted. I will not tell that religion's name, you know it. In current world, one particular religion, don't write it. If you want to avoid these kind of example, you can avoid it, or you can write it. We're not talking about any religion. We're just saying that there's one particular religion which is targeted and which can lead us back to again the anti-Semitism world. So this whole tragedy, if we don't learn from it, it will again become a joke. And again, this whole thing will repeat itself. And we have to stop that from happening. And that's why we say history repeats itself, first as tragedy, and second as farce. Okay, so all these points you can use here. Next, again, I realized here is fourth and eighth. These are very good topics, actually. Fourth and eighth, very, very philosophical topic. Better practices to best practices. What is the meaning here? That nothing is best. You cannot say anything is best. Like, you always need to be curious. You always need to adapt to external environment. You have to continuously compete with yourself. You may feel like competing with self. You may feel like you're studying for 6 hours a day, so you're the best. But for people who are studying 8 hours a day, 10 hours a day, who got rank 1, rank 2, whatever, for them, that is best. So it's all very relative. It's all very subjective. What may be best for you is a better for others or good for others. Hope you can understand this. So best is utopian. Again, there was a utopian thing here. Now it's too extreme. And how will you define what is best? So what may be best for you may be good for others. So always go again for the middle path. Right. Always try to like be better. Like earlier, there is one concept of homogenization. English is ruling over the world. But plurality tells us that homogenization is not best. Plurality, religious diversity, linguistic diversity tells us that no, there are better practices than homogenization. So always there are better practices too, the so-called best practices, because nothing can be best. Hope you can understand this. So you have productivity enhancement apps now, like Pomodoro. We have talked about Pomodoro. I very much like Pomodoro. So again, this is telling you that there are other ways also where there are better practices also which are coming up and which will keep on coming up. So that's why you have to be continuously adapt yourself. So these are the things which you have to talk about here. Now, I was telling you that in all these essays, there are most of the people who write essays, they know about it, that you can use these two things, pestle and past, present, future, or both of them combined. Pestle, past, present, future. Now, what is the meaning here? Let's try to understand it with an example. Pestle is political, economic, social, technological, anthropological, legal aspects. So if you write different dimensions, you will get good marks. And then you can put these dimensions in past, then present, then future. Let's try to understand with an example. Let's say I give you a topic, Gandhi reminiscing the ideas, or reminiscing the man forgetting the ideas. You can pause the video. You can try to write this in 1002 or 1200 words, reminiscing the man forgetting the ideas. What you will write here? Reminiscing the man forgetting the ideas. So here again, there are two parts to the question. We are remembering man. We are remembering Gandhiji. How? So there are different things. We remember him in political domain. Why? And how we remember him in political domain. So there he talked about bottom-up model of governance. He talked about Ram Raj, bottom-up model of governance. That means he talked about strengthening the local bodies, right? Then you can talk about, this is political domain of this particular essay. Then social domain. What is the social domain in which we are remembering Gandhiji? Sarvodaya. He talked about Sarvodaya, progress of all. So you can talk about that here in this particular essay. Then what else? There is also Gandhiji's talisman, where he talked about that if you feel like think about the poorest person and whatever you're doing, whether it will help him or not. So it promotes social equity. So this is the social domain of this particular essay. What is the educational domain? Nai Talim. Gandhiji talked about Nai Talim. Learn while you earn, which is the base of vocational education now. Then what is the economic domain of this particular essay? So here in economic domain, we can talk about that. Gandhiji said that we should have production by masses rather than mass production. We should have production by masses rather than mass production. Hope you can understand. So that's why he was not very in favor of like heavy industrialization. He promoted industrialization, but he felt like this will cut jobs. So production by masses rather than mass production. Environmental domain. So he said that world has enough for everyone needs, but not enough for everyone greed. So need and greed statement. And then you can say how we are forgetting the ideals. Like in political domain, too much centralization is happening, because of which we are not promoting bottom-up model. Local bodies have not been given enough power. Sarvodaya, but there is too much inequality now. Rich are becoming richer, poor are becoming poorer. Nai Talim, so there is too much, according to ASCR report, Annual Status of Education report, there's too much emphasis on rote learning. Then economic aspects, production by masses rather than mass production, you will talk about that. There's too much industrialization, AI, etc. has come, which is leading to job loss. Environmental need and greed, you will talk about how there is deforestation and all those, and we are not talking about sustainable development. So all these things you can talk about. So you do know how to use dimensions. Try to use these dimensions in these essays or not. Also, try to see if you can use it or not. So that's it, man. And that is the review. Paper was tough. Don't worry about it. Whatever you have done is done. Focus on other areas, focus on other topics, give your best. That is in your control. And forget about everything else. Take care. Be blessed. Bye-bye.